So I'm Angie Dema. I'm the Director of Collections and Exhibits here at the Alaska Native Heritage Center. And we have training opportunities, especially for young people, especially for those that are here at the center. Um, and we have different groups of young people that come to the center. And we give them opportunities to work with our staff. And so we hire apprentices, and people can apply for those positions. And we also hire contract conservators like Sarah Owens, particularly. And currently, we're doing a week-long workshop with Sarah and our 8 apprentices on how to take care of regalia. And each day they're focusing on a different part of regalia and going through, different aspects of care. And these are regalia pieces that are in our education collection that get used. And so it might not be collections level care, but it's bringing up the quality of care. And so it's very specific for our needs. And so I really recommend talking with Sarah Owens or other contract conservators to really up your game. And I often bring her in when I have a really hard problem to figure out. As a director of collections, I don't know everything. And so I don't make decisions about a piece of art, a cultural belonging, and the science around that willy-nilly. And I'll make sure that I'm not going to do something like that without consultation with the artist as well as with Sarah or somebody who is a professional. And so hiring somebody like that is super helpful. And and she will charge by the hour. She'll also charge by the day, and she'll also charge by the week. And so it really does pay to talk to Sarah. Sometimes I will get grants to do that work with her. And sometimes we will leverage funds through organizations and Native corporations to get projects done, depending on what type of project we're doing. In this case, with the regalia project that we're doing, we were using our Tin Hazun project funds, which are part of the ANA grant. So the part of the Native American Administration grant, a federal grant that is paying for that week-long training. And also, I wanted to say, for training purposes, I think it's also important to attend both the yearly Museums Alaska conference to really understand what's available in our state and who's available, to meet all of those folks that do specialized parts of the job, but also to go to ATALM. I think that's one of the better hands-on conferences, and ATALM is the Association for Tribal Archives, Libraries, and Museums conference. And it changes its location each year. I think it's in North Carolina, maybe this coming year. But it's a really condensed few days, so it's kind of intense to go there. And there's a couple thousand people, but it's a really good place to talk not only to colleagues from Alaska, and there's usually a lot of us, but it's a good place to connect with vendors as well and learn some of the what some other people are doing. There are also equipment and vendors who sell casework, who make publications, all different kinds of things. So training wise, really getting out there and connecting at conferences, I think is a good idea. And then, reaching out to your colleagues. Here at the Heritage Center, I'm happy for you to reach out to me. And I'm happy for you to come here and shadow if you want to just come out and follow along with our team to see how we work. And typically on a big project, we involve a lot of our staff, both in the collections department and outside of our collections department. And when we do that, we bring in somebody like Sarah Owens, a conservator, to do a big object handling training to make sure everybody's on board with the rules and protocol around caring for objects so that we're all on the same playing field before we take on a big project. But it does, for like a moving project or something large, you do want a lot of hands, and you can't do it on your own. And those are some of my tips and ideas around training here at the center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's so Sarah is one of the conservators in the state. Her specialty is fabric. What is not fabric, but
Textiles.
textiles. But she also has object background.
Yeah, she's really branched out and she's learned a lot of other fields as well. So I really haven't found the end of her knowledge. She's really quite amazing at almost everything. And she will tell you if she doesn't know something. And we can always reach out and, go beyond. I've worked in other states as well. So I have other contacts I can call to get other information. But Sarah is a wealth of knowledge. And because she is contract, she has learned a lot of other fields within her own field. So she's more confident, I think, now with paintings and somewhat with paper and other materials and media other than just textiles. But that is her specialty, you're right.
Yeah, and she's the only one that is not currently with an organization. We also have Ellen Carley, who's at the State Museum, and she's always willing to answer questions. She is an object conservator. Monica Shaw at the Anchorage Museum is also an object conservator, and she's always willing to answer questions. And then we have at the Park Service, Nicole Peters, I believe,
Right.
and I think she's also an object conservator.
Correct. And then Stephanie too at
That's
the
right, Stephanie at the
Anchorage Museum.
And I think everyone is an object conservator. So if there is needs for paper conservation that are like deeper needs than what our in-state conservators can do, there are people in the lower 48 or maybe even Canada. And then also paintings, that's usually a specialty as well. So if there's
Yeah,
ever something that our in-state people can't answer or they don't have the skills to help with, they usually know other conservators that they can kind of lead you towards. So
exactly. There's also the American, it's AIC. I'm not sure what it stands for. American, it's a group,
Institute of Conservation.
Institute of Conservation, and they have lists too of conservators by state. So you can look in Seattle or Washington State if you want to look for somebody close by. And there's also people here who, let's say you're looking for somebody that's a paintings conservator. I'd call the Anchorage Museum and other larger institutions that have a lot of paintings in their collection and see who they use. And a lot of times what I've seen people do is they'll collaborate. Let's say there's a number of institutions that have paintings they want to conserve. They'll collaborate together to come up with a time frame that works for everybody and bring somebody up together so it's not so expensive for lodging and collaborate that work together. So I think if we can all work together, we can get the job done a little easier as well.
Yeah. And then if someone wants to intern or be a fellow at the Alaska Native Heritage Center, is there a timeline? Is there a process?
They just have to reach out via email and or phone call. And typically I'm better with email when you're trying to reach me. And just to be honest, right now I am underwater, and I will be for a couple months until our exhibits open in May, mid of May. And so, don't hesitate to reach out, but if it takes me a while, please don't take it personally. Uh, we are a really small department, and we have a lot on our plate. And so be patient and I will get to your email, but it might take me a while. But I do really love helping people and sharing what I know and what I've learned over the years. And we'd love to have you come shadow or help. And currently, I have an apprentice who's been with me now for 3 years. And she's really learning the ropes, and it's really fun to see people coming up in the field. And I look forward to, conversing with more people who are coming up in the field. I think it's a really exciting field to work in. Not that it's not challenging, but
Yeah. And then, so the internships, are they kind of based on what the person wants to learn? So they're sculpted to what the needs are and how long they can stay and that kind of thing.
so they're informal.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
And so the person who's applying, they would have to find their own funding to live in Anchorage and to
yeah,
travel here, and it's not a paid
right.
position. Okay.
Unless we have a position open, and then it'll be online on our website typically.
Okay. Good to
Yeah, and we have had apprenticeships open, and those are not that well paid, but they are paid. And typically we're looking for, young people to train. Um, but yeah, those jobs are all online on our website when they do come open. Our I would think actually our apprenticeship program is funded through September, and we're looking at trying to fund that further. So there might be an end to that program soon,
know.
and a little lull between it and the next iteration of that program.
Okay. Good to know. Is there anything else you can do?
Um, Not offhand that I can think of right now, but we do I'm always happy to if we're when we're meeting with the cultural centers and museums consortium, as I hear people's needs and things like that, as we're having Sarah come and do these different workshops, if you're in Anchorage, um, we're more than happy to have you join us in our trainings that we're having with Sarah when she's here. I think we've had her over here for about 6 or 8 different time slots over the last year. So we are actively training young people in the field.
That's great. So if they're interested in learning more about when those are, just reach out to you.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Great. Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome.